Hello students, welcome to this lecture on model questions related to torsion. So in the previous video I had discussed the different model questions related to plate with holes. So this is the second video in this series where I will discuss about torsion. Now as I said earlier in the last video, first you make sure that you go through the notes and make sure that you have understood it fully, and then you watch this video. Okay, so torsion in prismatic bars. So what do you mean by prismatic bars, that you know? So one of the easiest one mark question I can ask you is, what is warping? Okay, so we had discussed this at length, what makes the problem of torsion special. So it is this phenomenon of warping which is seen in non-circular cross sections. I can ask you maybe one mark or two mark question on what is semi-inverse method, right? Uh, then we started out this derivation, and you had assumed a warping function, right? So this is the warping function, and for the case of torsion problems where the cross section is subjected to only a twisting moment, we had seen that the stresses, see, actually there are, for a three-dimensional body there are nine stresses, out of which six are independent because of the equality of Cauchy's. So out of the six independent stresses, four are zeros. Okay, so only two are non-zeros. So I can ask you direct or indirect questions using this. Okay, so then in the derivation we use uh, differential equations of equilibrium, which you have studied before minor one, and I think if I remember correctly I had also asked you the derivation of this in minor one, right? So using this equation we had arrived at this expression. Now using the use of this equation was simplified because four stresses are zero, plus all the body force components are also assumed to be zero. So I can ask you a situation where the body force is non-zero, because strictly speaking any body will have at least its self weight along the vertical direction, right, z direction. So if you have body force, how will this derivation change and all, I can ask you as a question. So from this equation we continued on the derivation. So this is the first equation, right? And one more condition we wanted to arrive at. So we use the Cauchy's stress formula, again something which you have studied before minor one exam. So Cauchy's stress formula we are used, and using doing this derivation we get one more condition. So this is that second condition. So this is also known as boundary condition. So these are the two equations pertaining to warping. Now we had discussed that it is convenient to work with stress function. So the same two equation we had derived it in the form of as a function of stress function. So the equations are obviously simpler than what we saw for warping. Now this is the boundary condition here, a simple equation d phi by ds equal to 0, or phi is a constant along the boundary. So I can ask you one mark or two mark direct or indirect questions based on this, using this condition. Okay, I can give you a stress function and ask you to check whether it satisfies or qualifies to be a stress function for torsion problems. Or I can directly ask you what is the boundary condition related to stress function in torsion problems. So it is nothing but this equation. Okay, so this much was the derivation, and then we moved on to finding an expression between external twisting moment MT and stress function. So that is this derivation. So in this derivation, we again used Cauchy's stress formula. So remember, in torsional derivation, we had used Cauchy's stress formula twice. Okay. So using this, finally we got the expression for this, where you have the external twisting moment as a related to stress function. So I can ask you a detailed numerical based on this. A direct question can be asked. I can give you the stress function and ask you to arrive at the expression for MT, right? So I can either give you a definite integral, okay, or I can means I can either give you a particular cross section with boundaries defined or a general stress function. So depending upon what is given, this integration will have limits or no limits. So whatever it is, you should be able to simplify this expression to arrive at the expression for MT. Similar thing we had done when we did the case study of ellipse. So I'll just show you that quickly. So here we had, see, this is this expression you have phi. The expression for phi is this. So we had simplified to get the expression for MT. Anyway, okay. So starting this elliptical cross section problem from beginning. So here, what we had done was, see, we were trying to solve the problem of ellipse, right? To get the equation of its warping or its out of plane deformation due to twist and various other relationship connected with torsional quantities. So the first step is to assume a suitable stress function. So here we had assumed it in the following form. So we know that this is one of the most important conditions which will help as a starting point for solving the problem. So here this should be constant along boundary or 0 for closed sections, solid sections we have discussed, it can be even 0. So we have directly conveniently used the equation of ellipse as a starting point for phi. Okay. Now I can ask you the same procedure for a different cross section. I can give you the cross section, I can give you the equation, and I can ask you to find out shear stress, warping, and things like that. All the quantities that were asked in this particular lecture. So what you do, you first ensure that the starting step is correct. Okay, so you assume a stress function such that our boundary condition is satisfied, right? And then the procedure is same. Okay, so in this derivation I can ask you some 1 or 2 mark questions like, what is the nature of variation of tau xz, tau yz, where is the maximum, what is the magnitude of maximum. Okay, all those questions can be asked. And then in that derivation finally we arrived at the expression for out of plane displacement, right, which is nothing but the manifestation of warping. So I can ask you a direct numerical, I can give you the quantities and I can ask you to evaluate what is the out of plane deformation, or I can ask you to directly evaluate warping function. So remember, this is warping function, this is out of plane displacement, right? This is displacement along z direction, this is the warping function which we assumed in the first lecture. Okay, so I can ask you a numerical asking you to calculate both, right, by giving you the quantities, or I can ask you 1 or 2 mark questions also for an ellipse, where is the minimum warping, maximum warping. So magnitude wise, minimum warping is obviously at locations where this is 0, which means all along the axis, either x is 0 or y is 0, which means numerical minimum of w or out of plane displacement or displacement along z direction is 0 along axis, and at other locations you have positive or negative, and the maximum will be of course at location where the product xy is maximum. Okay, so these are some of the questions that I can ask. And coming to the last lecture, where we had discussed the solution of partial problem using strain energy approach. Using the initial theory, I can ask you maybe simple 1 mark, simple or direct 1 mark, or indirect 1 mark, whatever. Direct or indirect questions can be asked. I can ask you what is the principle used in arriving at the formulation for solution of torsion using strain energy approach. So you know that we had discussed this, right? We give a variation to strain energy, and that is equated to variation in external work done. So it is the principle of virtual work, which you might have seen in your BTech, if not in your MTech also, in other subjects. So this is the expression for stress function we use in strain energy approach, and we said that finally it all comes down to evaluation of these constants, for which we will take the first derivative of strain energy with respect to each of those, which will give you independent linear equations. So maybe I can ask you some theory behind this. Obviously some of them will be a direct copy from this, but maybe I can ask you indirect questions also, 1 mark or 2 mark. Okay, so this was a formulation. Then we did a example of a rectangular cross section to demonstrate the use of this formulae. So we took this simple rectangular shape, and we, just like what we did for the ellipse case using conventional approach, starting point is obviously stress function, right? So here also you have to start out with a suitable stress function, but this stress function in strain energy approach will be in the following form. Okay, and we have discussed this. It has to satisfy the boundary condition. Okay, so how you assume the starting point, that is important. So obviously here we saw that if you take it in this form, along the boundary it is 0. Okay, now one important question I can ask you is, instead of this rectangular shape, I can give you a ellipse or some other shape. I can also give you the equation of the shape, and I can ask you to repeat the same thing. So the key is in starting out with the correct stress function. Okay, so once that is done, remaining procedure is same. So here, as we saw, we had limited it to one term. So you are evaluating a0. So for a0, we did all those integration, and finally we applied this. So I can ask you, when I ask you for a different cross section, you should be by starting out with the correct stress function or suitable stress function, you should be able to repeat this procedure. So this is the expression finally for MT of the square cross section. I can ask you maybe a direct numerical based on this, or some indirect 1 or 2 mark theory questions also I can ask. Okay, so hope this video brings you some comfort. So if you have any doubts, please let me know. Okay, thank you.